Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, kids at Doolittle Community Center receive much-needed supplies as they return to school. And we tell you about plans for a new community center and library for the historic Westside. Here to discuss these topics and a whole lot more is the councilman who represents Ward 5. You know who it is, Mr. Cedric Creer. Welcome back. How are you?
Mr. Riggleman, how are you?
Good to see you.
It's hard to believe. We always say this. Hard to believe it's been 6 weeks since we've seen each other.
You're
Lots
back.
going on. Summertime is coming to a close.
Yeah, the kids are back to school.
Kids are back to school.
We're going to talk about that.
I'm taking my daughter off to college
Wow.
next week and get her started. My intern this summer left, and he's back and started school freshman year, leaving Canyon Springs. I don't know where the summertime is going.
I know. It's like the old thing that Snoopy and Charlie Brown are sitting on the dock and they're looking at the sunset, and Charlie Brown says, sigh, there goes another summer, Snoopy.
There goes another summer. No doubt about it.
So well said, Charlie Brown.
Yes. So, you just, time flies. Time waits for no man.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You better get it in where you can get it in.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, speaking of getting it in, we're going to make sure we get in the map of where Ward 5 is located. You know this very well. You're born and raised there. If you're not exactly sure where Ward 5 is located, well, have no fear. We're going to show you on this map. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you're a resident there, you are represented on the city council by Mr. Cedric Creer. An interesting ward, we always say this, it stretches all the way from the downtown, includes the downtown, but goes all the way out to the northwest.
Yeah, all the way out to, now it goes out to Lone Mountain and Road area. If you go west, you're gonna hit Lake Mead and Rainbow, come back down, Smith Center for the Performing Arts and Symphony Park, half of downtown, the historic Westside, obviously Cashman Field. It's a very diversified ward. We have 3 area commands: downtown area command, Bolden, Northwest area command. So we touch a very broad spectrum of the city.
Yeah, you do, and you've got all the great museums too.
We do. The cultural epicenter of Las Vegas, as I say, is located right in the heart of Ward 5.
Exactly, as it should be, right, Councilman? As it should be. Well, as we mentioned, it's back to school time, and you posted this on Facebook. You said it was great to welcome students back to my alma mater, Matt Kelly Elementary School, this morning. And yeah, this is back on August 8th, and the kids have been going strong in school since then.
I tell you, just to be back in Matt Kelly, I actually graduated from Matt Kelly when it was a 6th grade center. And, the campus is pretty much the same. We're working with the school district now to revitalize and repurpose Matt Kelly. We have some plans for master planning the Doolittle Community Center next to it, and Matt Kelly is looking to get a renovation. So it's great to be back there. The kids were so excited. You can just see how elated they were to be walking back to school. Thank you to the Nevada Youth Network and all of our elected officials that were there from around the state. Even some of my federal delegation were there. A lot of nonprofit organizations were there, fraternities, sororities. The community came together to welcome these kids back to school.
High-fiving them. And
high-fiving them. And, so it's more than just, hey, great you're here. It was to welcome them back. And it's always a very, very fulfilling and fun time doing that. And the kids, just to see that in their eyes is precious.
It is.
Yeah, it's
really
priceless.
Is. Has the school changed much since your day?
No, unfortunately, it has not. Hence,
time to do some work.
Hence, it's time to, look, every building has its time, right? And Matt Kelly is no different. And plus, Matt Kelly is unique because it's a very small campus. The footprint itself is not a large. We just redid Maple Hogard, where I went to school. Larger campus, fields, all these different things that are there. Matt Kelly's very small. And if you look at the school, it's very hardscaped. There's no green space. There's the basketball courts in the back. There's the school itself, and then that's pretty much it, a multi-purpose room. So we need to figure out how do we incorporate just with the green space we have next door, which is at Doolittle, the school, and some other things we have going on as well. So work together to figure it out so that we can really give our kids a full scope of what being in school is all about. You need some green space.
Yeah, for sure. You guys will figure it out. It'll get all worked through. And speaking of back to school, you got to have the right stuff to go back to school. You posted this on Facebook. You said, we had a great turnout today for our back to school supply giveaway at Doolittle. And, you know, kids love this. The parents do too, because you got to have all your stuff to start school, right?
Yeah, you do. And thank you to Bolden Area Command and the sponsors that helped put this together. You know, this was a true community event where people came in. Mario's Market came in. Verizon was there. The city of Las Vegas also had a presence there, and other nonprofit organizations were there to donate things to the school, backpacks, everything from pens and pencils to pads to Kleenex to whatever they were able to get. And this is just one facet of it. We also do a special drop-off, which we'll get to later this start of school year, but we drop off supplies to the schools directly as well, so that we know that our kids in our schools and our ward gets the needed supplies.
Yeah, because you know, you don't want a child to go back to school and not have something they need, or to feel, you know, like they're not prepared, or that somehow they're just not measuring up.
You know, and then also we have teachers who come out of their own pocket to buy supplies.
They sure do.
Teachers, unfortunately, don't make as much as they should, but they do it. The majority of them are dedicated individuals that care about the quality of the product that they're putting out. They care about the students. They want them to be successful. They work hard, long hours. They come out of their own pockets to provide needed supplies for kids who don't have it. And so this is another way to try to support them as well. The students need it, the teachers need it. We know that it makes for a better environment for kids to learn.
Yeah, when you can create that environment, more learning is going to take place.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. So, and again, speaking of back to school, you posted this on Facebook as well. You said, what a great afternoon hosting these students who are currently or will be attending historically black colleges or universities this year.
You know, and all these young adults are working in the city in some capacity, and they're heading off. And Jacob, which is on the right there, who is our intern this past summer, we hosted a luncheon for them. I kind of have a little soft spot for kids and going to HBCUs, because I'm a graduate of an HBCU from Howard University back in Washington, D.C. And but I just wanted to get them together. We had a great lunch, great conversation, kicked them off, and gave a little bit of advice, unsolicited advice, may I ask, but I think they really appreciated it. Then they spent some time with me.
And what was that advice, Councilman?
Well, I always say this, is that one, choose wisely. When you go off to college, you're in college, there's nobody there who's telling you where to go, what time to go to sleep, what time to wake up, and you're on your own now.
For the first time.
For the first time. And so, and I always say this too, you know what the wrong thing to do is, and you know what the right thing to do is. Choose wisely. And usually when you're doing something wrong, you know it's wrong. You're like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this, or you could have looked over your shoulder. You know you shouldn't be doing it. Choose wisely.
Right. That's
and
good advice.
I think if you take that into life, then I think you'll be better off.
Yeah, good advice.
And then another is to handle your business, is what I tell them. You're there for a reason, right? You aren't, the parties are fun, being the coolest kid on campus, okay, fine, but that's not why you're there.
Yeah.
You're there to go to school. You're there to, study hard, get good grades, get in and get out, and then move on with your life, right? This isn't a saga. Handle your business, be responsible, do what you're supposed to do, and good things will happen.
And you always, I've heard you say this too, don't put off till tomorrow what you could be doing today.
Exactly
don't
right.
procrastinate.
Don't procrastinate.
Don't dig yourself into a hole, no question.
It never, you never get caught up.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do this in life. I always say all of this is life lessons. I'll do it, I'll get to it. No, do it, handle it, get it done. That'll free up time to do something else and be more productive. Because once you start backpedaling on one, I'll just do that math homework, and then next thing you know, I'll just do the English homework. Oh, I'll just do my
Then it's all due.
It's all coming at the same time.
Yeah. And then you have tests on all those.
Yeah, you got tests on all those, and you're jammed. Handle your business. Be very, very responsible for your time. Which is interesting about college. You think that you have so much time. You have to. Time management is probably one of the most important things that you could do when you're in school.
It's so true.
Right.
It's funny too, when you first head off to college in general, if you're a young person, you think, oh, 4 years, it's going to be this vast part of my life. This mountain I got to climb. You look back on it now, 4 years of our lives was a blip, right?
4 years is a blip, and if you aren't smart, 4 could turn to 5, 5 could turn to 6.
Yeah, don't want that to happen.
And that's just going to cost you a lot more money and a lot more headache. And you need to get out, get in, whether go to graduate school or go out into the workforce and start working, figure it out. Yeah. So I time management.
Exactly. Good advice all the way around. Should mention that all those students that you saw there were interns here in the city. Of course, it's a big organization. They were all over the place, but they all interned here this past summer.
How cool is that? The city does an amazing job of bringing our interns in this summer, and it's kids who are some in college, some who are going off to college, some are high school still. Our Batteries Included program that we have with our Social Youth Innovation Department, Dr. Tammy Malledge and Dr. Lisa Morris-Hibbler, and that whole team does an amazing job. And Sheena and the team do such a fantastic job of working with these young adults, shepherding them from high school. Some come back and work with us. Different activities that take place over the summer.
It's a great
exposure.
Program.
Yeah, it's great. And then also we have to thank our partners who also provide the internships are not necessarily just with the city of Las Vegas. We have partnerships throughout the city, and we provide internships and work with other businesses that offer them as well. So that program itself, how cool would it have been when I was a kid, to have something like that and you can sort of tap into.
Exactly.
Because it really is. And the cool thing for the kids, you actually get paid to do it.
Yeah, you do, and in some places it's credit too.
Yes.
School credit is depending on what your class is.
Yes. So it's not like you're putting your time and not getting paid for it. You're getting paid. Put some money in your pocket. Go back to school.
Be ready. Exactly for the next semester. Exactly right. If you're interested, you'd like to maybe be a part of that, or maybe have a son or daughter or a family member who'd like to have a part of that program, we'll tell you how to reach out to Councilman Creer before the end of the show and just ask some questions. He'll connect you with the right people then. So, Councilman, shifting gears here a little bit, Cashman Center, the development there, exciting. Cashman's basically been empty other than soccer games for some time now, and there may be a potential big change.
Yeah, there may be, and I want to stress maybe. We are working diligently to find the right fit for Cashman. We've went into an MOU with a organization to try to bring soccer here and mixed-use development. That didn't quite happen. We do have the USL team playing there. We've gone into another agreement with a group that wants to bring a very, very needed in our community, a children's hospital that will not only be the hospital, but also ancillary doctor's offices and research taking place, potentially a hotel, potentially some mixed-use development that would take place in this campus. Really a health and wellness for kids, anchored by a world-class hospital for children. We don't have that, and I think any great city needs that, as well as we're trying to build out a medical center and area in Councilman Knutson's ward with the University School of Medicine, with Valley Hospital, with UMC. And if you tie that also into the Lou Ruvo Institute for Brain Health, continue to go a little bit east down to Cashman Field, where a world-class children's hospital could be, it really rounds out what a great city can be. So I really hope that this transpires into something outside of just this MOU agreement.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. But it's a good group.
Yeah, they are.
It's a good group. That's a positive thing. And they're really dedicated and have a huge passion for the betterment of the health of children.
Absolutely. The council at the last city council meeting entered into an exclusive negotiating agreement, or what we call an ENA, with that group. They've got 6 months to come up with a plan. They can extend for another 6 months. But they're kind of on a fast track, Councilman. This isn't going to get dragged out over a number of years.
Yeah.
This is they've got about a year really to figure this out.
They do. But the good thing is that the group that's assembled, they didn't just come up with this concept and thought overnight. This has been marinating over the last couple of years, and concepts have come in. They've brought some other players into the fold, which have a lot of experience in this. They've brought a financial component, which has a lot of experience in this. So I think they've assimilated a great team. And if you can combine the passion, which is on a level of 100, with the experience, with the desire, with the rounding out of a great group, I think success will happen.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
We're going to find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed on that. And then, Councilman, I love this too, something new for the historic West Side, a new library. It's coming to the Enterprise Park area. There's been a little bit of misunderstanding around this. Maybe we can help clarify. Some people think that the library is somehow disappearing, or the historic West Side's not getting what it's entitled to. But no, a new library is coming.
A new library is coming. Yeah. And if you look at the current library, the West Las Vegas Library over on Lake Mead and Jay, right on the campus of the Doolittle complex.
Right there, right on the
right there. You know, we talked a little bit about earlier, a building serving its time and its purpose. Yeah. That building has served its time and purpose.
Oh yeah, it's an old building. It's rather small.
Yeah, it's extremely small. It doesn't meet the needs of current libraries of today. You know, we had a community meeting there. It's a good example of something. And the room was so small that people were actually standing and sitting in the library trying to listen to the meeting, which was in the meeting room that was
teeny,
there. Yeah, it's very small. It doesn't meet the capacity of what it is. And look, I remember when the library was built and how happy we were to have a library, and it was fantastic, but it's just outgrown its space. Luckily, the library, Clark County Las Vegas Library Board agrees. The executive director, the new executive director agrees. The Library Foundation agrees that we need a new library. And so we are working with those organizations. We have done a land swap acquisition. The new library is going to be facing MLK, located at the Enterprise Park, which is between the post office and Fresenius Kidney Care. There's a land there, and it loops around that the library will take place. The city of Las Vegas purchased the building from the library district, which now we're looking to take that building and find the proper fit for it to a means to give back out to the community. Like I said, we're doing a master plan for the whole Doolittle complex now.
Right.
Potentially that could be an expansion of the West Las Vegas Arts Center, which is needed. We now take control of the Performing Arts Theater, which is great. That's not going to change. But we'll be able to program that out now. Instead of seeking permission for the Arts Center to do something there, it's ours now to do, which is great. That's going to stay. And so we're just going to do a little analysis of the entire Doolittle complex, including that building. And then the library district is going to start construction planning. You saw some renditions of potentially what a new library may look like. We're still in the design phases. But if you look at modern libraries of today, we're going to get a brand new, beautiful, modernized library, which is going to have all different types of space for the community to utilize, maker space, all types of different programming is going to take place there. It really is going to be something that we're all going to be proud of.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the library is just getting bigger and better over there.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
Yeah,
so.
And then the current library will stay where it is until the new library is built. That's important. So those services are not going away. But we'll just switch over, and with a more modernized library, we can offer more services back to the community as well. Yeah. And that's the plan.
Those have been big hits. The new libraries have been big hits in various parts of the community, and so it's going to be the same.
No doubt about it.
No question.
And it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Looking forward to that. And Councilman, you posted this on Facebook. This is pretty exciting too. You said the neighborhood near Jones and Lake Mead will get a much-needed community center and renovated park this fall. Everybody loves to hear those words.
Yeah, if you look at this park, we call it a pocket park, which is located right in the middle of a community. This community's been there for a while, and that park was due to get new sod and a new playground, new basketball courts, and just sort of repurpose the old with the new, which is fine. But we thought about a concept of creating the city's first Tech Recreational Park, which will allow us to combine a park of the future, and really a park of today and a park of the future, with recreational space that kids can go out and also participate and get some exercise. We've done that with the new Becker Tech Recreational Park, and we named it after the Becker family who built all of the homes in the area, who donated the park to the city when they built the homes in the area, and so it's very fitting that we name it the Becker Technological Recreational Park. And it's going to open hopefully in October. hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Maybe November. Construction is ongoing. It looks great, and I think it's going to be a huge asset to the community, as well as I think it'll be a park of the future of how we look at when we're building new parks or repurposing parks, of some key entities that should be engaged when you talk about a new park, right? Whether you like kids on tech or not, that is here. It is where the future is going, and we have to get our kids trained in those fields, as well as when the kids are in school, the seniors can go and participate in this park as well. And so it'll be a very well-rounded park for the community.
So coming this fall.
Coming this fall. And you know, another cool thing is that you never would think this park is going to be here, because it's so densely located within this community, and it's an older community. And you would never say to yourself, I wonder what's going on over there. This park is dab smack in this community. It's been there, and it's going to have a brand new, modernized facility, which is going to be so cool for the community.
That's great. That's great. We're looking forward to that. The Councilman also moving ahead, second phase of the Courtyard Homeless Resource Center. This is a project that we've been working on for some time there at Main and Fourmaster, over not far from Cashman Field. And the first phase is done, and we've been taking care of the homeless there especially through the hot summer months that we've been facing. But moving on with expanding the Courtyard, and adding more facilities and more services.
You know, this facility is the region's only low barrier shelter, which is needed. Low barrier meaning that you can come in if you're high, if you drink, you can come in and still receive services. Many places you have to. Can't be what they call wet.
Right, you can't be inebriated.
You can't be inebriated. And so as long as you don't bother anybody, you're not causing problems, you can stay. The first phase is open, as you mentioned, and is servicing people as we speak. We have about 800 or so people that can spend the night in the shelter, receive services from pharmacy care to our kennel to storage facilities to mental health.
Keeping people cool.
Yeah, keeping people cool, mental health, workforce development. The goal is to get people off the street and get them into a pathway towards being living the rest of their lives. And so phase 2 is coming in, which is also going to include a qualified FQAC, federally qualified healthcare facility right on campus, amongst other things. So people, and also servicing people in the area to be able to get healthcare as well, not just the people who are homeless. So it is going to round out a contribution that the city made of about $24–25 million out of the general fund money to build this facility, and it's going to service Las Vegas and our residents, our indigent care who are there.
I know it's making inroads in improving the services, improving the opportunity to get homeless people off the street and into housing, into employment, into mental health services if need be, or drug addiction services. Substance abuse services. I know that's been one of the things you've been focused on since you got into office.
It is. One, my father was a specialist in substance abuse as a physician. You know, the services for homelessness, most of them reside in Ward 5. We house about half of the homeless population reside in Ward 5. So we've taken a very strong approach of trying to figure out how do we mitigate homelessness and get people off the street into transitional housing, into long-term rents, and getting them into productive lives. And so it is a huge initiative of ours in our Ward 5 office, and it will continue to be as well. We've made a lot of strides, and thank you to our team, Kathy Thomas, Jocelyn Bluth-Fisher, who runs our Courtyard, Lisa Morris again, Hibbler again. They are amazing. They are subject matter experts on this field, and they lead the charge for the city. And we have to thank them every single day for all the hard work that they've put in. And we're making a lot of strides. And also we have to thank you know the mayor and council, our city managers, for even putting this on the slate to do.
Big expenditure.
Big expenditure, as well as here is a mayor and a council that said, look, we aren't going to wait for someone else to do it. We aren't going to just sort of act as though this problem doesn't exist. We're going to hit it head on, and this is a solution-oriented policy and procedures to make this happen.
Councilman, we've got a couple minutes here to go, but a couple things I want to talk about. West Las Vegas Performing Arts Center, there was a great performance out there. These students, unbelievable. This production, you can see this is a cast of thousands in this, and wait till you see. I mean, this was, there's a lot of choreography in this.
This is our summer art program that takes place at the West Las Vegas Arts Center. I don't know how they do it. Every year they come together and they do a year-end performance. And it is stunning every single time, from the costumes to the lighting, obviously to the performances. And look, these kids only have a couple weeks to learn to do this. It's not like they're in some studio throughout the course of a year and they're coming in. They did a preview for me, and they had only been practicing for about a week, and it was outstanding.
Yeah.
I thought it was a full show. This was just a preview for me doing it.
A lot of talent.
They are a lot of talent. They're great.
Good stuff.
And thank you to all of the workers over the West Vegas Arts Center, Ms. Marcia, Antonio Vargas, so many others that work so diligently to get these kids together.
It's good stuff. It really is. And now we're going to talk basketball between now and the end of the show. Hoops for Hope took place July 14th. Great event. There was somebody named Career out shooting some hoops, too, just getting nothing but net.
Yeah,
so,
well, you know, it was funny that we had this event, Hoops for Hopes, which is great, and we had kids out playing a tournament. They also had adults out coming to community together at the Shack Courts. I picked up the ball and had a couple shots. Our new marshal, who's our chief of our police services, out, and our marshals are out shooting buckets. It's a lot of fun.
They were impressed. They were like, man, this
I was impressed with them, too. Great, very good time, good evening, and a great community event that took place.
And then I should mention, too, Councilman, we've got a 3-on-3 event coming up that was announced on August 15th over at the Shack Courts. Gus Macker, the 3-on-3 tournament. This is open to the community, right?
It is. So the Gus Macker in the Midwest, if you're from the Midwest, you know that it's huge. It's 3-on-3 tournament. It's been happening for years in Michigan. People come from all over the Midwest to play in this, or all over the country, really, to play in this tournament in the Midwest because it's so big. First time we're having it here in Las Vegas. Thank you to Tracy Bird, Kelly Woods in my office, who's part of the committee to bring this here.
Wow.
Kelly's from Michigan, so she's very familiar with it. We're going to have it at Cashman Field. We launched a press conference with the mayor and others to talk about what's going on. October, it's going to take place, I think the 15th and the 16th. You can go to Gus Macker online. You can reach out, sign up. Kids as well as adults can play in the 3-on-3 tournament.
A lot of different age groups involved. Very good stuff. Well, Councilman, the show always goes fast. We have a lot to talk about, good stuff, a lot happening in Ward 5, but we want to tell everybody before we say goodbye, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilman Career, you can find him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He's very active. You can also contact him by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is ccareer@lasvegasnevada.gov. And here, one of his great staff will get right back to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great job. We'll see you back here in 6 weeks, and we'll say again, man, that 6 weeks went by fast.
We do a lot in 6 weeks. Thank you all. Have a great one.
Thanks, Councilman. And folks, don't miss our next show on September 1st with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Also, look for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to sign up for our newsletter. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.